Hello and welcome back to Fullerton College Print 145 Variable Data Printing. This is your dorky professor, Ben Hewitt. We are looking today at personalized marketing and how that intersects, informs, and is informed by variable data printing capabilities. The idea of personalized marketing is the idea that you can better influence somebody, oftentimes for selling. I mean, it is marketing. If you're trying to create advertisements, you can either advertise to the mass market or to a person. The epitome, the absolute apex of mass marketing is the Super Bowl halftime ad, where your company simply hemorrhages money into about 30 seconds of television airtime that the entire country and anybody else in the world who happens to care about American football is going to watch. In fact, people look forward to these things. I do. Oftentimes they're very well put together and they're pretty funny and they're very clever. But that is mass market. That is looking at, let's get every single person in the country who happens to be watching the same thing at the same time and all give them the idea that they should buy our car or beer or potato chips or whatever it is we're selling. And they try to create something that everyone is going to like and is going to speak a little bit to as many people as possible. In fishing terms, this is dumping a large net off the side of your ship and dragging it through the ocean to see what you get in it. Personalized marketing, which is like sending people individual postcards, individual mailers, creating advertising campaigns that are tailored to their interests. It's more like, instead of putting a giant net out into the ocean to see what you catch, strapping on some scuba gear, grabbing a spear gun, and diving in and going after the fish you want. Which may not catch you as many fish, but is going to catch you the fish you want, as opposed to all the fish with the hopes and the one you want is somewhere in that net. So it's very personalized. I don't mean to sound too predatory about it. Again, this was my job to work on for many years, and it can be pretty interesting. Personalized marketing is a little bit difficult for me to give you solid data on. Let me attempt that with some of the slides and stuff I've found out there in the world. One of the issues with trying to get solid data on personalized marketing is most of the information available about it is in fact being used to support selling it and its systems and its concept to customers, which in this case are businesses that are looking for customers. So it's hard to get less than a rosy picture of how great it is because everyone posting information about this stuff, everyone publishing any sort of data about what kind of returns you get and how many people respond is definitely coming from the angle of, we want you to buy a system that does this. So the information is always, I don't want to say suspect, but you do have to put some salt in on this before you eat it, because it is for sure attempting to drive a decision in its favor. So it's hardly nonpartisan, is what I'm trying to get at. But anyways, it does show some good results. There's just one other variable in all of this that I would like to discuss, but we'll get to that in a moment. So using personalization, these charts that I found, which sum it up pretty well, show that for different types of things, different types of sales you're trying to make or influences you're trying to have, that you seem to get a little bit more or a lot more results of people acting on the information they're presented with when it's personalized to them. The only issue I have, and here's the thing I was talking about, is personalized marketing is itself a little bit of a broad category, and it's a little bit harder to nail down exactly what's going on. Namely this, there are two variables I see at play in personalized marketing that increase the response rate over static, which is just like the Super Bowl ad or any sort of, like, let's just say if we're talking strictly junk mail, your mass market type stuff is like when you get the supermarket, like your Stater Brothers ad, or your, I guess Aldi's in my town now, your Aldi ad, when you get those things in the mail, and it's for everyone to go to Vaughn's and buy this week's deal, which is on prime rib, but also go and buy other things too. That stuff is definitely not personalized. Personalized only to the extent of, they tend to only send you the ads for the markets that are in your neighborhood. I don't get ads for Gelson's or those fancy ones that other neighborhoods have that I don't. But I do get stuff for Ralph's, Vaughn's, Stater, Albertsons, all the ones that are actually in my town. I get all of them. Even though I don't shop at most of them, I still get them. Anyways, that's mass market. Personalized is that postcard you get, or sometimes a letter, that has your name on it and also has some information that you might be interested in. And I will talk more about how this gets used and abused towards the end of today's lecture, which might be a second video at this rate, because I can ramble about this stuff forever. Anyways, personalization can be several layers of this thing. One of them just being personalized marketing can be only getting things that you're already interested in, but personalized can also be getting tailored ads that are very specifically designed to show you what you want to see and offer you deals on things that you are interested in. Examples being mostly online these days, because personalized marketing is not just a printing thing. There are printing components, but online, and sometimes they're a little bit out of date. If you go shopping online for something, you start Google searching to find a new refrigerator, as I did a few years ago when my fridge went kaput, and I had to do something to be able to continue to keep food in my house without it spoiling. So I researched for a fridge, and so did my wife. We Google the fridges. 4 years later, I still get fridge ads in my email, and I still see them showing up in the sidebars of all sorts of websites that I visit as, this is something that you have purchased from or something you've looked for. So we're going to keep showing it to you. Anyways, versus static, these sorts of ads do seem to get more attention. Things like retail, it gets a lot more attention. I can tell you that's true. If you mass market me retail about things I don't care about, I'm less likely to respond to the ad, either from a mailed catalog or from an email ad. There is a particular Army surplus store that I've bought some fun jackets and backpacks from in the past. And you know what? They're an ad that does get through to me because dang it, I'm actually interested in this stuff. Even if I don't want to buy it, I do enjoy perusing international, European used combat boots and, old backpacks and tent systems that were, designed in the Cold War and never used, thankfully, which is why we're all still alive. But in any case, advertising something I'm actually interested in is a good way of getting me to actually act on things. Whereas advertisements for, fine menswear or cologne, you're not likely to get me to buy it. Although other people, you should be advertising those things too. The best uses of this. So people use personalized communication and personalized marketing and personalized printing to do a couple different things. The most obvious one that's easiest to define and think about is direct sale. A hey, you should buy this type ad. You can get those all over the time in your sidebars of your Facebook feed, as well as in it nowadays, because the sidebars weren't enough. They have to actually put posts that drive your friends and family out of your view and drive things that they want you to buy into your view, which when it's a Kickstarter for a really cool pirate-based miniatures game, I'm a little less grumpy than when it's for a car or something I'm not going to buy. I'm not exactly in the market to buy cars. Thank you very much. But anyways, direct sale says, hey, buy this thing. And when it's personalized, when it says, hey, you, Ben, buy this thing that we know that you're interested in, that's a bit more powerful than just saying, hey, everybody, I hope somebody wants to buy our stuff. Lead generation and lead nurture are things that are a little more interesting. This is about finding out if people are interested. Sometimes you can start with a mass market type thing and send out a more generic request or a generic ad saying, hey, who wants this thing? And if people respond, then they end up on a list of people that are going to respond. Um, you know, let's just say I went into a room full of people and said, hey, who wants pizza? The people who say, yeah, me, I'd like pizza, those are going to be the people I talk to afterwards about what toppings we should all get together. The people who said, I'd rather not, I want a hamburger today or whatever, or just sat there quietly ignoring me, well, they're not going to be getting the personalized communication of, now that I know you like pizza, well, what toppings do you like? You see how you kind of narrow the focus. You start with a wider focus and a wider angle, and you sort of narrow it in on the people who are actually interested in what you're working with. So lead generation is finding who's going to want to do things. One of the common ways that I have seen, I'm afraid to tell you, I don't actually have solid data overall on this one of exactly how common this is, but I can tell you that having worked in this for 5 years, one of the more common ones that came through my little shop in Chino was lead generation based off of trade show. So there were a lot of companies we worked with where they would send out mass market postcards and invitations to everyone who's even sort of in the business. Notice that's in the business. They find out what businesses are out there. I suppose I could do this without slandering everybody. I don't have anything bad to say about them. We'll see if YouTube shuts me down for mentioning. So one of our big customers was a combination of Lamps Plus slash lazy boy. I know I've talked about them in the past, not working internationally because lazy boy means nothing, and only Americans call the letter Z Z. Everybody else calls it Z. But anyways, lazy boy recliners and lamps plus custom home lamps for home furnishings. They would send mailers out to everyone in North America who was interested in basically who ran stores that sold furniture. So they were looking for business to business sales. They weren't looking for you and me to go out and buy a lamp for our house. They were looking for who owns a warehouse store that sells recliner chairs and fancy lamps. And we want them to come to the trade shows because there are furniture trade shows, guys, which unlike a lot of trade shows probably have a lot more seating available. I should go to those. You can sit down a lot. Anyway, so you go to these places and you look at the things and you figure out what the next year's style for interior decoration is going to be. So you can stock your Jerome's or Ashley or whatever you are, uh, living spaces or whoever, and put all this stuff in your store and kind of figure out what the big hot items are going to be for what do people want their couches to look like next year. So first you get people to come to the trade show. Then you get people to come to your booth and look at your booth. Sometimes this is accomplished with having really cool displays. I've gotten to work on a few of them, and it's really fun to work on these things. Also, one of my brothers-in-law, heck, I only have one brother-in-law. My brother-in-law works for a company that builds the cool displays for inside trade shows. Anyways, so you see these things and you go up to the booth, and oftentimes they bribe you with food. The best booths have food. FYI, total side note. You want to generate leads at a trade show booth and get people talking to you. The absolute best trade show booth I've ever found was at a print show I went to one time. And they were advertising because they were a client that also did a lot of printing. They were advertising a type of milk, an organic, fair, more ethical milk called Fairlife, where they treat the cows better, so they say. Anyways, the way they sold milk and got people interested in them was they brought a little portable convection oven and they baked chocolate chip cookies right there on the trade show floor. Everyone's walking around bored, tired, and hungry. And let me tell you, there is nothing like the smell of freshly baked cookies to make you want to first get a cookie, then try some milk, and then sign up for mailing lists. Because my goodness, there's nothing like fresh baked cookies, cold, fresh milk. And then after that, I don't remember what I said or did, actually. Anyways, so that gets the people in the door. Then they sign up on the list. And oftentimes at a trade show, they just scan your badge now. And you have like a barcode or a QR code on it. And that puts your name onto their mailing list. They capture all the people who registered for the event. And then they have a list of people who stop by their booth. And people who stop by their booth are a more targeted group of people than people who are just random people. So it's all about finding people and slowly narrowing down the group until you have the one or two people who you really need to be talking to for selling or for working with and partnering with whatever it is you're trying to do. That's lead generation. Lead nurture is when you get emails from people that says, I don't know, happy birthday. Actually, I get, that's a good example. I get a birthday card every year from my person who handles my car insurance. That's right. My car insurance sales guy who handles our account manager, sends me and my wife a birthday card every year saying happy birthday. And that's lead nurture. That reminds you that they know about you and that they care. And since I already have a relationship built with them over the last couple of years, it's kind of nice to hear from them. That's lead nurture. Lead nurture can also be when you get, and this is something I used to work on, one of those guilt-based dental, you need to brush your teeth more often, isn't it time you had a checkup cards from your dentist, driving you into their chair again. That's lead nurture. Loyalty, you'll notice on this chart, there's no way of doing loyalty through mass market static stuff, because if you get an ad from somebody saying, hey, it basically wants to not kick you down the road, that sounds wrong, but help you feel like you're connected to them and want to maintain your relationship with them, and you don't have a relationship at all, that goes straight in the round file. If you get a ad from a company you don't care for, I know I throw out a ton of junk mail every day. Anyways, I went talking and got into a bunch of side notes, and for only 10 slides, we're only 3 slides into 10 slides, and it's already the length of the video. Sorry to talk your heads off. Remember, you can watch these at your own pace.